I got my boom plays, sleepers, and streamers for week 8 coming at you right now. First up, I have Javonte Williams, running back for the Denver Broncos, going up against the Carolina Panthers. This is a obvious lock. This is a must start this week with Javonte going up against the Panthers defense, who are allowing the most rushing touchdowns and rushing yards to running backs this season. So you got to put him in there, being that we had concern earlier in the season about his usage with these other running backs, but it looks like he's got that job in lock as the RB1, playing over 60% of the snaps versus the other running backs. This is a obviously must start and should be the obvious game plan for the Denver Broncos going up against the Panthers. So I'm expecting huge points from Javonte Williams in week 8. Now for my next boom play, we're heading down to Houston where the candy paint is dripping, and Stefon Diggs should be a little bit cooler into this matchup going against the Colts, where he had 2 touchdowns in week 1. Not a lot of yards, but I definitely think, being that he is now the wide receiver 1 with Nico Collins still sidelined, this is a great matchup to plug and play him to make sure he's in those lineups going against the Colts defense, who are still bad, but they're allowing a 77% completion percentage, 2 wide receivers that are targeted out of the slot. So that means good news for CJ Stroud to have a bounce back, because last week he was harassed in that pocket by the Packers, but I'm expecting a better outing from Stefon Diggs to maybe find the end zone twice again. I'm expecting big points from him and CJ Stroud, so let's get Stefon Diggs in those starting lineups locked. Now to get into my sleepers for week 8, Darnell Mooney going up against that Bucs defense. They faced off in week 5 where him and Drake London both had over 100 yards, and he actually had a big fantasy outing, finish as a top 3 wide receiver against this Bucs defense in week 5. Ended up having over 100 yards, and this Bucs secondary is still a little banged up, still trying to figure some things out. But even if they're going to try to get Mooney out of the game plan because he's so explosive, Mooney is definitely a deep threat and also a underneath security blanket that Kirk Cousins has all his attention towards Drake London and Darnell Mooney. So this is a great play this week as a flex or even a wide receiver 3 in your starting lineups this week. Darnell Mooney is a lock for some good points. For my next sleeper for week 8, now I usually don't jump on the waiver wire and then throw guys into the starting lineups, but Cedric Tillman, man, it's very interesting to see that he generated 12 targets last week and 8 catches with 3 different quarterbacks, might I say. But Cedric Tillman was playing behind Amari Cooper for some time and looked real nice as a plug-and-play guy in that Browns offense. They need a spark. They need somebody out there who's going to step up, because honestly, it looks like Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore have just checked out just by body language. But Jameis Winston should be getting the start this week. By the time I'm recording this, it's not a confirmed, but I definitely think Jameis Winston's going out there. DTR has the finger injury, but Jameis Winston's a guy that can stretch the field. He's going to take those chances in the pocket. Cedric Tillman looks like he's hungry. He's ready to step up. So therefore, having 12 targets last week, I don't think it's a fluke. He could definitely end up being the #1 target on this Browns offense. So he's a sleeper this week in week 8. Now to get into my streamer for week 8, it's a DST, the Lions defense going against the Titans. They may be available to you on the waiver wire, or if you stashed them, you got them. You should be putting them in starting lineups this week just to get some big points so they can build off of the 10 points that we start off with. And every single game they had this season, they come away with an interception. So therefore, the pass rush might have taken a hit because of Hutchinson, but they're still going out there getting sacks from the guys that are stepping up on that D line. So you have the takeover upside, you have the sack production. This is an offense with the Titans that have been struggling every single week with Will Levis, or if it's Mason Rudolph, whoever the case may be. This is a defense that you want to have in starting lineups this week to get the big points, so you could just have some basically stress-free for a defense that's not going to go out there and give you 2, 4, or even 5 points. I'm expecting big points from this Lions defense this week, so have them in starting lineups locked up. So this wraps up another great episode of RotoBaller Fantasy Sports YouTube channel. Please make sure you guys like and subscribe. We are on a journey to 25K with the RotoBaller family here. We are so appreciative of all the support you guys do every single week. Make sure you guts leave a comment below on your start and sit questions, and I'll try to answer them all the way up until game time. And you know what you guys can do. You can follow me at Real Deal Fantasy on all social media platforms. Until next time.